I'm standing in front of you now, but I want to make one thing clear. We're not just talking about Capricorn here. We're talking about the darkness that lies beneath its stoic exterior. The cold calculation in their eyes, the silence that speaks volumes. It's a language only they understand. You see, what most people don't realize is that Capricorns are often masters of emotional compartmentalization. They've been conditioned to suppress their true feelings, hiding them behind a mask of duty and responsibility. But what happens when this facade cracks? What if I told you that the root of every Capricorn's darkest fear is not failure, but abandonment? It's the crippling sense that no matter how hard they try, they'll never be enough. That the world will ultimately leave them behind. This deep-seated insecurity fuels their drive for power and control, a desperate attempt to prove themselves worthy. And when the mask slips, and you catch a glimpse of the real thing, the desperation, the crippling self-doubt, you'll realize that this isn't just about Capricorn. It's about all of us, hiding behind our own carefully constructed facades. When it comes to Capricorns, there's a common misconception that they're just ambitious and driven individuals who will stop at nothing to achieve their goals. But what society often fails to acknowledge is that this drive can be an all-consuming force that wreaks havoc on the individual's mental health and relationships. You see, Capricorns are not just about climbing the corporate ladder or building a business empire. They're also deeply afraid of failure and rejection. This crippling fear can lead them to become perfectionists, constantly striving for an unattainable ideal that ultimately sets them up for disappointment and despair. The reality is that being a Capricorn can be exhausting, not just for others, but for themselves as well. Their need for control and structure can stifle creativity and spontaneity, leading to feelings of suffocation and desperation. You might see this play out in their relationships, where they struggle to let go of the reins and trust others with the decision-making process. They may come across as aloof or distant to those around them, but deep down, they're desperate for human connection and validation. The core contradiction at the heart of Capricorn's nature is that they're driven by a desire for security and stability, yet simultaneously crave excitement and adventure. This tension can lead to inner conflict and self-sabotage, as they struggle to reconcile their need for control with their own desires for freedom and spontaneity. It's this internal tug of war that makes it so difficult for Capricorns to find fulfillment and happiness, not because they're inherently flawed or broken, but because the expectations placed upon them by society are fundamentally at odds with their true nature. As we delve into the darker corners of Capricorn's psyche, we find ourselves confronting the breaking point, that moment when their rigid control and need for order are shattered by a traumatic event or series of events. For instance, consider the case of Jeffrey Dahmer, a notorious serial killer with Capricorn rising. His mother's emotional neglect and abandonment issues stemming from her own troubled past left an indelible mark on his psyche. The discovery of one of his victims' Polaroid photos in his apartment was the catalyst for his eventual breakdown. The juxtaposition of beauty and brutality, frozen in time, revealing the seething darkness beneath. Or take the example of serial arsonist Arthur Shawcross, a Capricorn with an affinity for control, who found himself pushed to the edge by his own crippling anxiety and paranoia. His infamous BTK letters, taunting the authorities, concealed a devastating vulnerability to the psychological manipulation he suffered at the hands of those around him. These cases illustrate that when a Capricorn's carefully constructed world is disrupted, their natural inclination towards control and order can quickly give way to chaos and destruction. As we delve deeper into the complex world of Capricorn, it's essential to explore their darker defense mechanisms, which often manifest as toxic coping strategies that can have a profound impact on those around them. You see, Capricorns are notorious for their ability to compartmentalize, separating their emotions from their actions. But this coping mechanism can quickly turn into a destructive force when they feel threatened or embarrassed. They employ what I call the scorched earth policy, where they systematically dismantle and destroy any evidence of their vulnerabilities, leaving nothing but ashes in its wake. This defense mechanism is rooted in the fear of being exposed as weak or vulnerable, which is deeply ingrained in Capricorn's psyche. By shielding themselves from emotional pain, they create a fortress around themselves that makes it impossible for others to penetrate. However, this armor comes at a steep cost, as Capricorns often become masters of manipulation, using their charm and charisma to control those around them. The scorched earth policy is not just limited to romantic relationships. It can also manifest in the workplace or with friends and family. Capricorns may become ruthless in their pursuit of success, stepping on others to get ahead, without regard for the consequences. This behavior is a result of their deep-seated need for control and power, which can lead them to engage in toxic habits such as gaslighting, emotional blackmail, or even physical aggression. It's crucial to recognize these warning signs when dealing with a Capricorn who exhibits this defense mechanism, as it can be incredibly damaging to those around them. By understanding the root causes of their behavior, we can begin to develop strategies for breaking down this toxic armor and helping them find healthier ways to cope with stress and adversity. As we've delved into the complex world of Capricorn, it's essential to acknowledge the dark side that lies beneath their stoic exterior. You see, Capricorns are often driven by a deep-seated need for validation, which can manifest as an insatiable hunger for recognition and admiration from others. This craving for external validation can lead them down a path of people-pleasing, where they sacrifice their own needs and desires to avoid rejection or disappointment. But what if this drive for validation is not just about seeking approval from others, but also about healing old wounds? What if the pain of feeling unlovable or unworthy in the past has become embedded in their psyche, driving them to seek constant reassurance from others? You may be surprised to discover that many Capricorns have been carrying around a deep-seated sense of shame and inadequacy, which they've learned to mask with their signature stoicism. So, I want you to take a moment to consider this. What if the dark side of Capricorn is not just about their flaws, but also about their hidden pain? What if, by understanding and acknowledging this pain, we can help them break free from the cycle of validation, seeking and find true fulfillment? Now, I know that some of you may be thinking, but how do I even begin to understand my own darkness? Or, how can I help a Capricorn friend or loved one overcome their struggles with validation? Well, let me tell you, if you want to master your true power and unlock the secrets of your own psyche, then subscribe to this channel. Don't just watch the videos, join the conversation. Comment below with your sign, and get ready to dive into the depths of your own inner world.